Alright, here's a really good example of what I'm going to call, well, the solution to what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to call organic software development. So, Windows, right? A very simple example. If you've got a stack of windows open, they're not all perfectly fully occupying the screen, some are overlapping and whatever. If you click on one beneath, say, the one that you were actually working on, instead of just activating that window and waiting for you to then click on whatever you wanted to click on, if you click on that window, wherever you clicked, let's say there was a button that says pay £1 million of my money into some account somewhere, and you just click on it, you happened to click on the window to activate the window. If you clicked where that button was, bang, it's been selected and clicked. Now, to stop this kind of nonsense, in the past, you had to first select the window you wanted to work in, and then work and do what you wanted. And that's gone. Because some twerp sat down and said, oh, I've got a great idea. You see, statistically, we've proven that 80% of people who click on something behind something else, they actually want to just click the thing behind. Oh, great! Implement! We have to implement this. We can't stop. We just have to implement. No, never mind the way it's been for, 40 years. Never mind that. Let's just implement. And so, suddenly, all of a sudden, bam! A problem that was avoided for 40 years or more has resurfaced. I don't know if it's 40 years, but it's resurfaced, and these people have ruined and left vulnerable a system to mistaken clicks. Happens to me all the time. I click in a window expecting that window alone to be activated, but no, wherever I clicked, the thing has happened that would have happened had I already had the window open and selected. Now, if you wanted that to be the way your system ran, so be it. But you don't get options with Microsoft Windows, and it's not just Microsoft, it's any software. What they do now, instead of working organically like a plant does, saying, okay, I was growing this way, but maybe this way is worth exploring too, right? The way that Windows and Microsoft and all these other companies go is, we were going this way, here's another alternative. Tell you what, let's completely obliterate the original way and completely 100% commit to this new way. And all the people who got used to doing it the other way are like, what have you done? You morons. And this happens all the time. Nature knows better. Alright? The reason we have vestigial organs like the appendix, which can cause problems, is because you never know. Alright? We have vestigial potential to, as humans, mutate webbed feet, tails, all manner of odd things, because nature has to keep the doors open. But in a fit of ignorant stupidity in software development, these people aren't keeping hold of what used to work and explore, and they don't explore a new avenue. They say, right, new avenue, out with the old, in with the new, and then you end up with software that you're thinking, why did they change this? Okay, I have to now adapt the way I work to this new way for no reason. I was perfectly fine doing it the other way. There was nothing wrong with it, and furthermore, it gave me control. I was responsible. No, we can't have the user be responsible for anything. No, all users are stupid. Don't you see the sign? Yes, in our office, this is every single software development office on the planet, the user is a fool. Yeah? The user has no brain. You must eliminate the user's use of their own brain. And the rot of humanity continues, as people are just disempowered left and right, and bad decisions are made in all spheres. But software development is the worst. It's a philosophical problem that's going to be rectified. How do I put it? another way. There's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in that book, they make some really good points. The guy who wrote it made some really good points. Dale Carnegie. And he focused on making sure that people understood that the customer of whatever service you're providing or whatever you're trying to sell, whatever, the customer has to be put first. You have to listen to them, even if you don't want to. Listen to them, hear them out, put them in the position of seniority. And in that book, yes, the whole reason for that book is to teach people how to win people over to their way of thinking by actually being genuinely cordial. But essentially, the point is that if in business you think you know right all the time, eventually the customer is just going to get more and more frustrated, and if your competitor comes along and caters to what the customer wants, you're toast. And you'll be going, yes, I'm right, and you'll have no business. So, in the case of software development, the problem is these people have their little empire mentality. And this is what happens, I think, in software development, and I bet you there are other people in the industry who have seen it and who know it's a problem. It's the empire mentality. It's, we have power over the customer, over the user. They will do what we want them to do. And as I say, this is against nature. Nature always leaves the door open, just in case its novel way of doing things proves to be a disaster. You have to leave the door open. When I design things, if I make a change to the design somehow, I always keep the old design available. Just in case. If you go, oh, don't need that anymore, and burn it, then your new design of whatever you're doing doesn't pan out. You're like, how do I go back to where I was? And then you can't. So, the whole problem with software design, user interface design, is that these fruitcakes are just cutting off things left, right and centre and saying, no, there is a perfect way that we could get to, a perfect way. And the problem is that, again, truly, even in the world of computing, you can't escape nature. Nature abhors perfection. I know it sounds like a glib thing to say, but it's true. That's why that statement exists and has stood the test of time. Nature abhors perfection because perfection is fragile. It's weak. And all it takes is for one thing to come along and not fit it, and it's broken. And it doesn't work anymore. So, the whole ethos of software and user interface design has to change. It's not, look at how powerful we are. It's, look at how rational and humble we can be. Because we understand that we're dealing with things that need to be handled carefully and gently. So this ignorant phase of software development has to end. It has to fail. It has to be deleted or gotten rid of. Or, I mean, even this, I'm suggesting wholesale deletion of it. Well, in essence, wholesale deletion is the problem. So this particular way of doing things doesn't work. What needs to happen is a reversal to how things used to be, whereby software development was reactive only. And that's the natural way. That's how nature responds to the world around it. Yes, it can be rather slow, but it works, and it stops this kind of nonsense. Software used to be fantastic until something crept into the ethos of the industry, and people got big heads and they stopped listening. They got massive heads and they just stopped listening. Oh, we know best, and then eventually they have proven they don't know best at all. So, what do we do? Well, I'm just doing my bit at the moment. I'm trying, whenever I get software that's really bad, I try to somehow contact the people who make it to tell them what they're doing in a kindly way if I can manage it, but sometimes in a very direct way. But yeah, you know, this has to be fixed. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of this. Every time I use my computer, some nitwit has changed something else. Oh, look at this wonderful idea! Yeah! And you can imagine all the people cheering in the meeting room where they decided to make this big change. Yeah, we're going to make a big change. And the senior management whose heads seem to be firmly wedged up their backsides are sitting there going, oh yeah, wonderful. This will be wonderful for everybody. And these lower level managers are going, oh, I get to keep my job because I made this radical change. And everyone suffers. So, you know, I don't know what's happening with Microsoft. Bill Gates is off on a yacht somewhere and Microsoft is just going the other direction off of a cliff. You know, I don't understand what the heck's going on. It's a disaster. Yeah, this has to change. This has to stop. The organic way of designing software is the way. If you're going to change something, leave at least, in fact, put it as an option. Put it as an option. And don't sit there going, yeah, we'll see which option proves to be the... Just give people options. Stop taking away options from people. It's just... I don't know what else to say.